Start nothing.
You know, that's, whew, but they're both hell of engineers, and I know that our mayor is doing a wonderful job as far as advancing not just education, but also empowerment for our youth throughout the West Side, helping to advance affordable housing throughout our city. This is a very hot topic, a very, very necessary thing that we do to ensure that equity can take place within our city. Also, you know, putting forth different initiatives to invest in a safer environment for all of us. Public safety, I know that crime is also on so many people's minds these days. There's a lot of anxiety as far as where the city rests as far as that's concerned. And so we're gonna be hearing a lot of the initiatives that are taking place right now to help provide people with alternate routes and, you know, different opportunities so that they don't have to find themselves in these situations where they feel they're back against the wall and they have no other options. So that being said, I do want to welcome in our special guest for this morning, Mr. Andre Dickens, the 61st mayor of the city of Atlanta. Hey, Benjamin, how you doing, man? We're going to have you in the middle here. Come in the middle.
How are you doing? Thank you, Benjamin.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Have a seat.
Mr. Mayor, we appreciate you joining us, spending time on
Yes.
your beloved West Side. We know you're a proud resident of the West Side, so thank you for coming to spend the morning.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure,
Good to see y'all
thank you.
this morning.
This is huge, a huge honor. So we're going to jump right into it, okay?
All right.
So you have talked about moving Atlanta forward, which I love that phrase, as a priority for your administration. And you're focused on bringing opportunity, improving equity, and fostering a culture of integrity for our city. What are some of the milestones you are most proud of so far in your 8 months as mayor?
Yeah, I mean, this 8 months has felt like 8 years already. It's been rolling. It's a full contact sport is what we're in. Some of the things, it's hard to just put it all into a few things. I'm very proud of the team that we've assembled, the people that we've been bringing together, and we still have more hiring to do. But you know, part of it is just getting started, get the team going. But then the other is some of the things is, you know, the city responded very well to our Moving Atlanta Forward campaign, the T-Splosh, $750 million that we have to be able to do vital infrastructure needs across the city. That's for public safety, our roads, parks, and recreation centers. So getting that off the ground. Another you know, huge win is the amount of affordable housing that we've already done just from the beginning. You know, I'm really big on affordable housing because we have to make sure that we have people's ability to live in this city. Even though a lot of folks may work in this city, the prices have increased so much. So so far we've broke ground and actually moved in about 1,600 people in the first 9 months, really the first 8 months of this year.
Yes, deserves a hand for sure.
And we're just getting started. My goal is 20,000 units of affordable housing over the next 8 years. And so we're going to ramp up and scale. Just yesterday, I'm the chairman of the board for Invest Atlanta. Just yesterday, we put together packages for about 20 developments, 1,800 units yesterday. So you'll start seeing those go through the process of construction and development. And then, you know, a couple of years from now, those will be in place. So just yesterday. So what we told developers at the beginning of this year was get your shovels ready, start picking out spots of land, also get with Atlanta Housing Authority. We set up our strike force. So the MARTA has land, Atlanta Public Schools has land, Beltline has land, Invest Atlanta has land, City of Atlanta has land. If you have land and your business ends with .gov or you got Atlanta in your name, it's mine. And I am sharing with you where we need to go with it, and we're going to move at the pace that I move. And I'll just say another thing, the way we're working with the Atlanta Public School System, the way we're working with youth development organizations, we are trying to set a path for third grade reading. And so the third grade reading starts happening when you're 8 years old, of course, right? So if you're a child born in the Dickens administration, we want to make sure that you are reading at or above grade level by the time I leave this seat, hopefully, if I get 8. And so, I just talk that way, sorry. But I'm going to be here for a little while and I'm gone, but I'm going to be here while I'm here. So those 8 years, so you imagine the investments we're making in young people and working with the Atlanta Public Schools has really been, Dr. Heron and I and her team talk early and often all the time. Yeah.
Yes,
And I think the efforts that, your office is putting forward as far as affordable housing is very evident. And, that speaks highly of the work that organizations like what Westside Future Fund is doing. Also, I saw Leonard Adams in here somewhere.
Yes.
Quest Communities, the work that they're doing for affordable housing. These organizations could not thrive. They couldn't do it without the support of the mayor's office and the city of Atlanta. So thank you for everything that you're doing as far as that concerned. Mays High graduate, Georgia Tech engineer. You spend a lot of your time here on the West Side. You are a native, you are a legacy resident. What does that mean to you? What does the West Side mean to you?
Wow. So you're right, I'm a Mays High graduate.
Unfortunately, it's fine.
We really talk about these high schools a lot. It matters, when Mays beat Douglas High School 35-0.
So we're going
when we beat Douglas 35-0.
You like to bring up old ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was elated, but I felt sorry because those are voters too at Douglas. I got to love on all of them. I just, I went over there and I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all getting beat so bad,
That's all right. Astros for life. We good.
But, when I was young, I wanted to be mayor since I was 16 years old. And my mom says I said something to her at 12 about becoming mayor. And I love this city, even though I had never left it. Mm-hmm. So imagine that my comparison was on TV and in my world I lived in. So I lived in a city where you drive on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Your friends are going to a school named after Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, and your other friends are going to a school named after Frederick Douglass. And I was born when Maynard Jackson was mayor. He became mayor, and I was born 6 months later. So all the time, I'm in a city where I'm like, when I look at New York on TV, they don't have this legacy of diversity in this way. And the diversity that I was familiar with, it was black or white at that time. And I was looking at LA and I was like, it's cool and all. I love them. It looks like those beaches are fun and all that, but it just doesn't feel like home. It doesn't feel like how. So I had never gone anywhere. But I said the West Side is the best side. I said Atlanta is the place I want to serve. It's the place I want to be. And so, that trajectory of being the first in my family to go to college, and I went to Georgia Tech. It's the only place I applied for. It's literally, my life is pretty destined, I will go to this school, and I go to this school, I get this degree, and then I run for office, and I win, and I'm, here. It's like these things just kind of happen, and I don't take it for granted, but I also kind of am very spiritual about how it works. So, the other thing about the West Side is the people of the West Side have instructed the world, and definitely America, in that when we talk about disadvantaged business program, that they're trying to get off the ground in other cities. They're trying to get, their airport to feel like our airport, where 38% of everything that happens out there is minority of female business enterprise owned. They want their watershed management department projects to be like ours, where 30% of it is minority and female owned. These things happen because the minds of the West Side looks and feels like equity. It says we're going to be a tapestry. That's what all those HBCUs over there are just emanating excellence and ideas across that are now, most of them stay in Atlanta and help us do, but then when they leave, they go out to places and they take that mentality and try to help foster what's special about the West Side to the world. So It's we are a crucible on the west side of great. We cultivate talent, and that talent ends up being reflected in our policies and our business actions and our generational. We pass this down generation after generation, and we are an exporter of that talent. When those individuals end up going to other places around the country, and they try to get try to share what we have here, and we're fine with that. Atlanta has a lot to offer, and the West Side is where it really originates in a lot of cases.
West Side is the best side, that's what I feel. And speaking of learning, some people may not know West Side Future Fund obviously is very much invested in revitalizing, affordable housing and getting more people, like you said, to be able to afford to stay in the city. But West Side Future Fund has also helped expand early learning in the community by partnering with Atlanta Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Lisa Herring, who you mentioned a few minutes ago, and the YMCA of Metro Atlanta, to add more, this is interesting, preschool classrooms at Hollis Innovation Academy. Investing in cradle to career education is something we're all very serious about. It's obvious that you are as well. Yeah. What is the latest update on the City of Atlanta's commitment to invest $5 million in early childhood education?
Yeah, thank you. That's something that, being mayor, you got potholes, you got police, you got, all these basic nuts and bolts, sidewalks and, traffic lights and picking up garbage, and just dealing with a lot of stuff. What has happened in the past, or in some, thoughts are, well, you stop at your job assignment. The charter of the city requires me to do certain things. And for me, I keep going back to the root cause. It's this scientific method that I have in my mind, and I see challenges that are like in adulthood or in teen years, and I'm like, well, what happened before to get them to that mindset or to be that far behind, et cetera. And so you end up going all the way back. You keep going to like, okay, preschool, and then you say, okay, from the cradle. Basically, it goes all the way. Everybody matters from the very beginning. Infancy matters. If you're going to be here, I'm going to be in Atlanta a long time. I've already been here a long time. I'm going to keep on being here a long time. So I know that if I don't do something about somebody in the cradle today, then I'm going to see that challenge 8 years from now, 7 years from now, 15 years from now. So I don't want to keep solving these problems over and over again. So I said my job now creeps into early childhood education. It creeps into childcare. It creeps into education. And I asked for permission to go into those spaces with the people that provide those things. And they said, come on, we welcome you, Mayor. And I said, well, what is the number? What does it take? And they said something like $60 million would get every child from 0 to 4, everything that they would need in terms of education every year. And I was like, oh gosh, okay. And so there's public money that we could put towards it, but it's private money. So I said, okay, well, let's put a down payment on that. $5 million is what I said the city would put. And that was in April. I had just been mayor about 5-10 minutes. And I was like, well, we're going to find $5 million to put towards it. They was like, how are you going to do that? And talking to the CFO and everybody, we looked under the pillows. We looked went out in the backyard, dug up treasure chest, found $5 million. And I said, well, we need 20 though. So we're going to challenge everybody to get to 20. So far, we're at $15 million so far already in the first few months. We found $15 million towards our $20 million goal for the first year, which is the year of the youth, is what we're calling 2023, the year of the youth. And so starting in January, so we got $15 million towards a $20 million goal, and I got 3.5 more months to get the other $5 million. So before we leave here, there's some guys standing on the corner where they got some collection plates. We'll shake all y'all down for about $5 million before I leave.
That is excellent. I think
but the point of all that is, now you can help child care centers that are, you got three things that we want to do with that money. One is, where there's a deficit of child care centers, we want to help incentivize people to build child care centers. 2, where there are child care centers that none of you would want to send your child because they don't have a quality rating or they don't seem like, the building is, or the equipment, et cetera. So we want to infuse some capital in those places that it may be in the west side or the southwest side or whatever that, you want your kids to go to a quality place. If you're going to spend money and go to this place and it's not up to par, and the people may be up to par, the professionals that are providing the care may be up to par, but the facility, it takes a lot to maintain facilities. You don't send your kid there, you just send them to your auntie or your grandmama or something like that. And there's nothing, the only thing, those are good people too, grandmama and auntie, but we're now in a competitive society. And so if the person that's going to a Sheltering Arms, a Bright Horizon is getting 1,000, 2,000 words a day, and you're with grandmama and she sets you in front of the TV, you're safe, but you're not getting competitive so that by the time you show up at APS or at pre-K that you're on equal footing. Then we end up having a disparity by 3rd grade. This is the math that you end up doing. So I said, okay, so how do we get everybody, prepared? So that's the second is to bring up these underperforming places or the places that you don't want to send your child, make them worse. And then the third is to put some money in the pockets of some of the teachers, paraprofessionals that have struggled through COVID and working in environments that aren't
Just going back to a point that you made, and I'm glad you made it, getting ahead of the ball, so to speak, when it comes to problems that arise later on in life. We have a lot of, like I said before you came in, we have a lot of anxiety throughout the city right now from different areas when it comes to crime and, our youth getting caught up in street life, essentially. And us being from the West Side, we know that there's a lot of that going on, but there's also the other side to it. You got you sitting here on stage, I'm here sitting on stage with the mayor. It's not all just one brushstroke, so to speak. But I do want to emphasize the point that you made, which is we have to invest early on in these people, and we have to have in these young people, and we have to have a clear vision for what it is that we're trying to put forward. And really mean it. And when we do that, the resources come, like you said. Another example was the Beloved Benefit we just had in July. You were there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but
I had a great time.
Okay. We all had a great time.
Right?
Usher. Maroon 5.
Usher.
But it was another excellent example of what's possible when somebody is bold enough to say, okay, here's an issue, here's a possible solution. All that we need to get from A to B is the resources.
Yeah.
And so with that being sort of a backdrop and understanding that there's a lot of investment that our youth need right now to keep them out of, a negative path, what type of initiatives does your office plan to either ramp up or instill over the next couple of, years to be able to divert youth from seeing these negative opportunities to a more positive path?
Yeah, this is very important if you think about it. To me, Atlanta is a group project. Yeah. Atlanta's a group project. So if in a group project, we all have to put in order for the team to win, in order for us to get the good grade or what have you. It's a group project. And so we're doing what we can on the youth development side. Majority of what we're doing is after the bell rings. Right, so there's an academic, requirement of the school system. But then, after the bell rings, they're in the hands of the city and the corporations and the clergy and, all that. We're all in it. And if we act like we're not in it, then we're not putting in on the group project. And we are subject to not get the grade we want because we're not putting in on the group project. And so when Dan, Kathy, and Westside Future Fund put on the Beloved Benefit, and $6 million, $6+ million goes towards all these critical nonprofits that then serve these communities, that's supporting the group project. And so for the city of Atlanta, we are committed to a number of initiatives that we did this summer already and are moving forward with it. Like I said, the Year of the Youth next year. My goal is that by the end of the next 8 years, that Atlanta, Georgia is the best place in the United States to raise a family. That's my goal. And we set big goals. And some people are like, oh man, that's hard to do. You know, how do you make Atlanta the best place to raise a family? Well, one of those elements that you would rate would be, you know, the level of crime. The other would be graduation rate and early childhood education participation and, you know, stable housing and recreation and these, you know, arts and culture. So I've created an index. My team, we're creating this little index. We're gonna make sure all the people that know stuff agree to that index. And then we're gonna go out here and start moving towards that. And we're going to ask corporations, we're going to ask faith leaders, et cetera, to help us. And so this summer, when, you know, as you look back on previous summers, there was a significant number of young men selling water on the corner. Yes. I don't have a problem with their ambition, we just have to guide it. And so we did a lot of entrepreneurship programs this summer. We also had the mayor's summer youth employment program, which the big goal was to hire 3,000 youth and pay them. And, you know, AT&T and Coca-Cola and, you know, the aquarium and IKEA and the city of Atlanta. We actually, you're going to hear a report real soon that tells you that we hit the 3,000 goal, and youth crime was down 20% this year. So that's a big win. Youth crime being down 20%, it didn't get to zero. You can go to the news headlines, you'll see 17-year-old did something we wouldn't want one to do, but you didn't see it at 20, it was 20% less of that than it was in years past. And so if in a short amount of time we can get there through this group project of corporations hiring youth for the summer, because summer is a very delicate period for young people. And then, you know, midnight basketball, while originally people were like, oh, that's gonna seem fun, that young new fun mayor, you know, he's out there doing basketball. But no, the truth of the matter is the concept was you take, you know, young men that would otherwise be getting in trouble or trying to stay out of trouble, but can't find a place to stay out of trouble because trouble could easily find you. We put them in an environment where they would compete and learn conflict resolution on the court. So we had got up to 300 young men playing basketball on Mondays and Wednesdays. When we started off, it was just Wednesday. And you see that those nights, they don't get in trouble. I didn't even do the study. 11 Alive was trying to test a theory, and they looked at the research, and there was like the nights that there's midnight basketball, several mile area around the basketball games, there's no crime. The crime is reduced. And I was like, thank God this thing worked. so it's just another way to bring down and give them positive opportunities. And then the last thing I'll say is, Mayor's Office of Violence Reduction, our nightlife initiatives, all the things we're doing with parks and recreation, and then being you and I mean, being men that they can see. They see Mayor Andre on TV, and I'm gonna say something that maybe hopefully resonates with them. They see you out in the community. They see Leonard. They see others that you just now you start with putting cash into. I put $1 million out there for nonprofits that serve youth, and hopefully we get this thing going where they just see so many positive mentors that they want to be like us.
Absolutely. It's funny that what you mentioned. Yes.
Sorry, my answers are long when it come to talk about youth.
Absolutely. And speaking of youth, it's so funny, you have lofty goals, right? There's nothing wrong with that. My son is 7, and I think some of you have met Jeremiah. Perfection. I sound like Denzel on Remember the Titans. Why wouldn't I set a lofty goal, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I expect perfection out of him, and I tell him every day, so hopefully he'll land somewhere great if I expect him to be perfect, right? Right. Shoot for the moon, land among the stars.
Exactly.
And speaking and kind of going into, we were talking about crime a little bit earlier. So we know what Atlanta is, okay? Everybody, Atlanta is a party city. Okay, people come here and they live it up, and we appreciate that. Okay, it's revenue for the city. There's nothing wrong with that. But of course, we know that kind of leads to more crime happening in and around those establishments. And I know your office has created a nightlife division, and to address those establishments that do have more crime in their area, in their vicinity. But there are some critics who believe that that's going to be harder on some businesses, particularly Black-owned business owners, and so it's been met with some skepticism. So what is your response to the critics who think that Black businesses will be more disproportionately affected by that? Yeah,
man, I want to talk a lot about that. So first of all, the nuisance ordinance is a collaborative thing between the city council and the mayor's office. Nuisance properties are not just nightlife establishments. There are some apartment complexes that have had murders and shootouts and just excessive negative or violent behavior, they are a nuisance, and we are coming at those nuisances one by one. Forest Cove is a nuisance. Darien Village on the far west side is a nuisance. Some gas stations are nuisances. If you got 3 murders this year, because this gas station, you let people do anything out front. And we go in there and search your gas station, and there's like a whole crack house behind the potato chips. It's a stash house for this or that. You are a nuisance. So while who came downtown were rappers and nightlife establishment owners. And I love them, and we have a very friendly relationship. I had to send them back out with, wait a minute, I don't know if y'all read this, but this is anybody that allows their environment to foster violent crime and tear down communities, you are a nuisance, and we're coming for you to get you out. You're a bad performer. You're a bad actor. I don't care if you're a club, bar, lounge, or a restaurant or a gas station. Absolutely. You're a nuisance. And so the fact of the matter is, the great thing is, we are a city that loves nightlife. And we talk about visitors come here for nightlife and concerts and conventions and events. Y'all like nightlife too, right? The people that live here like nightlife, right? And so it employs people, it provides revenue. We just want everybody to go home safe. We want you to go to nightlife, enjoy it, and go home. Absolutely. Go to a great restaurant, go to a bar, go to a lounge, and be able to go home. Absolutely. So the operators of those establishments have to provide the environment that allows you to do just that. And so we train them. We have what I call training days every 3 months. Every nightlife comes in, they learn de-escalation tactics. They learn how to pour without getting people drunk, noticing signs of intoxication, and how to, resolve issues, and et cetera, et cetera. Your surroundings, your parking lot, lighting, cameras, all that. And they're like, okay, that's great. And nightlife crime has gone down too, because of that training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really want to go back to the midnight basketball, because I saw that. I remember getting a text message about that when it first started, and I was like, yo, this is dope. And I knew immediately, because I live off of MLK, so it's right at the rec center,
yeah.
street for me. And so I knew immediately the impact that was going to have. And for people who aren't as familiar, black people, this is not a trope. On the west side of Atlanta, we love to hoop. That is just what it is. We love basketball, right? And so I thought that was just a brilliant initiative, because here's an opportunity for young men to not just engage with one another in a healthy environment, but like you said, it's also getting them out of the trouble that because to be honest, we from the west side, so it's frequent that you can pass by a gas station where you see somebody outside just standing around looking like they might be doing something they don't need to be doing.
Right.
Unfortunately, that used to be young people. To a very high percentage used to be young people. And so with this midnight basketball and other initiatives like this, you take a lot of that out of the equation. So I do want to give you kudos for that initiative, because that is really having an impact, and I'm seeing it every day. What has been one of the biggest challenges though? We've got the wins that we talked about, but what has been one of the biggest challenges since you've taken office?
Yeah, so the challenge is how to manage all the competing interests. So I'm high energy. I go, 13, 14 places a day, just moving, doing stuff. But then you collect a whole bunch of as you go, I'm going to leave this room. I'm going to get 10 texts and emails saying, I want you to do something, this and this and this. It's having the vision, having the strategy, hiring people around you, keeping the team. So it's moving this battleship and being able to handle all the various aspects of running a city. And dealing with past issues. So, taking care of the Peoplestown issue that's out there lingering. Stop fighting with certain developers that provide a lot of affordable housing. Get that off the table, so that they can run and hit the goal. Take care of Forest Code. Potholes. Yeah, I don't want to be the mayor that receives a call about a pothole and I got to go out there and fix it. Just create a pothole posse like Mayor Franklin did, and then you get that out of the way, and you say every 5 days you call 311. 5-6 days later, a pothole is filled. So I guess what I'm saying is being able to. I came in this thing to move Atlanta forward. It's not just a moniker. It's really like I believe we can move forward. I know who we are and I know where we're supposed to be, and to do that, everybody got their own vision for it, their own way for it. And for me, it's how to navigate that. Still, you got to fight these old issues. You're still coming out of COVID. You got to go pick up people's garbage and recycling when that wasn't happening on day one. So you just got to be able to get the stuff done. So I guess the challenge, what I'm saying is the challenge is walking and chewing gum. The balance of getting a hospital calls you and 2 hours tell you that in an hour and a half we're about to announce that we're going to close. Wow. Right? So Wellstar did a thing to us, and so you end up like having to deal with that. And for the last 2 weeks, I've probably spent about 60 hours, and then my team has spent another like 60 hours dealing with that. So how do you manage? Like they had a whole lot of other stuff on their desk. That was a bunch of stuff on their desk to get moved forward. Now, 60 more hours or so in 2 weeks has been spent towards something that ain't even in the city's charter. Hospitals are not, that's a county, that's the state, but I care about your health. The very first line of my vision statement is a city that's safe, healthy, connected neighborhood. So the healthy part is a threat right now. So when you talk about challenges, this phone rings and I don't know what's about to happen. I don't, but at the same time, you gear up, you suit up every day, and you get the job done.
Keep it moving, absolutely.
You got to push forward.
Absolutely.
We got some questions
Questions
from
from
our
the audience? Okay.
Our lovely team member, Miss Rachel Carey. She
Yes,
helps
Ms.
lead our Westside Future Funds real estate team. Does excellent work. Okay. Question: the World Cup is coming to Northside Drive. Continues to divide the West Side. The World Cup coming to Northside Drive continues to divide the West Side from the heart of downtown. What can the city of Atlanta do to make Northside Drive more pedestrian friendly?
Yeah, no, Atlanta has these, some large, I would say, dividing lines within the city, and Northside Drive is a huge road. It's big. It's hard to cross it. We're talking about like refuge islands at the crosswalks where there's a place where you can stand in the middle if you can't make it. If you're in a wheelchair or you're someone that's in a cane or disabled in some way, trying to be able to get across on the in one time time clock, it's difficult for everyone. So being able to redesign it in a way that provides some refuge, but also, it's a state road. It's not the city doesn't own the road, so we have to work collaboratively with Georgia Department of Transportation. And there's a couple other streets that's like that. State routes are for commerce. That's what they're for. They're built so that they can manage large, truck traffic. The things that we get, the goods and services, whatever is required to build this building or to build the next building, it doesn't come in a small vehicle. It comes in a large vehicle. So commerce has to happen. So you have these large roads for that reason. So I would say that it's tough, but it's a delicate balancing act and a negotiation with the state about, well, how can we still provide pedestrian safety while what their goal is to be able to have good ingress, egress from the highway into the city. So, we're working on it, and I just hired a new city planner. She'll start in a week, and those kind of things will be on the desk for her, and then to design and plan, and then just completing and working on a new transportation commissioner. So you'll hear something about that in a few weeks. So, working on it. But let's not go past that stop sign you just went past. Atlanta just won the World Cup. FIFA World Cup is a big deal.
It is.
So Atlanta's winning things already.
Yeah.
I move fast, but I stop at some stop signs. We just won something.
We gonna
And then also the national championship for football, we won that too. And I'm serious about this, y'all. Nobody has told us no yet. No one has said next time, Atlanta. I'm going for the DNC 2024 that convention too. So the West Side, and then yesterday we just did a big package for Herndon Homes. Herndon Square, so you'll see new construction happening right there on North Side and North Avenue, right around right here. So that'll be a new gateway.
Yeah, and shout out to all our friends over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We appreciate all the work that they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sports Council, Mercedes.
Absolutely. Y'all pray for our Falcons, though. We need that. Next question from the audience. What is the status of the jail? Are you considering reopening it?
Yeah, so one misnomer is the city's detention center is actually open. It's never been closed all the way. It's just been it's probably I don't know how many inmates today, but it may be 30 or 40 people there in a detention center that can house 1,300. So around in the early 90s, it was created, and it can house 1,300 individuals. But that was back when we had the municipal court also did a lot of other charges, and so now we have the municipal court, and they would you can get charged, but you can also go to Rice Street, which is Fulton County Jail, and then we had ICE detainees there, and we had other things that had this jail, this detention center of the city up in the hundreds of capacity each night. But we came off of that when we reduced cash bond, and we also got rid of ICE. So now you have about 50 people in that jail or less each and every night, and those are people that DUIs or people that are child support avoidance, and you get into a bar fight, that's where you go. So that is for me. But then you go to Rice Street, which is Fulton County's detention center, and there's 550 people sleeping on the floor right now, sleeping in the hallways because they're overcrowded. That facility that Fulton County owns was built something like 30 or 40 years ago, and the county has tripled in size since then, which means, unfortunately, the amount of people that have committed an offense that lands them in jail has increased. And that jail is for everybody from Alpharetta all the way down to Union City. And so it's overcrowded. And so they need to build a new jail, or they need to learn how to process cases faster. So my pressure point that I'm going to be applying is, all right, I am now allowing you to place some of those detainees in our center, our ACDC. That comes at a great cost to me. Several citizens don't want us to be in a jailing business. I don't want to be in a jailing business anymore, but I have to right now because of this human rights crisis of people sleeping on the floor before they're actually brought to trial. They are awaiting trial. Some of these people could be innocent. Who knows? That's what the whole point of judges are. And so the judges have to get through these cases. They got to go to work every day. The prosecution has to occur. We got to get better data systems. That's all on Fulton County. And I need the citizens of Atlanta and this office to apply pressure. The mayor is the person you see on TV all the time, and that's why everybody say mayor, mayor, mayor. But there's a whole county that gets about the same money as the city, and they're supposed to do stuff, right? And so your tax dollars at your house, 25% of it goes to the city, 25% goes to the county, 50% goes to the school system. So when we have jailing problems, there's a whole set of folks that you're supposed to call the county. Nobody storms that gate. Y'all need to start calling them people, telling them that they got to do some work.
Yeah, and I have to bring up the fact that, on the West Side, we have these initiatives that try to keep people out of trouble in the first place. And I know, West Side Blue is one that you're big on.
Yeah.
And shout out to Atlanta Police Foundation and the resident officers that we have living in West Side Future Fund properties to help, negate a lot of that activity around those properties. But anything about West Side Blue and that type of initiative?
Yeah, I was asked recently about, bringing back West Side Blue and putting more resources toward it. It was a public-private partnership. So West Side Blue is the city investing in it, but also the merchants and business owners investing in the various businesses in that area, the Walmart, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, as well as businesses around here to be able to increase patrols. So the city of Atlanta has a police force that is broken up into zones and beats, and there's a beat that this is in, but with the volume of activity here, the citizens and businesses want more protection, and so to be able to provide that, just like there's a Midtown Blue, there's a West Side Blue that we can put together, and that will be a public-private partnership where businesses help contribute towards the additional police force, whether they're on bicycle or whether they're walking. That would be helpful. And so, as a council member, right at the end, I put forth money out of my council funds to go towards that. And now we're talking with various business stakeholders to see how much more is needed. So we'll see what we come up with, because we want to make sure that the West Side Blue is going and people feel safe in the West Side area.
Absolutely.
And we know you got somewhere to be, but
Yes.
so we want Ebony to ask our last question for you this morning. We
All
appreciate
right.
your time.
Want to do one from the audience?
Oh, that was all.
Oh, it's not one. I'm so sorry. Yes. Anything that we can expect 2023 coming from your administration? A couple of sentences.
Yeah. Well, first we got to get there. I still got 3.5 months left to go in this year. But like I said, 2023 is going to be the year of the youth.
I like that.
It's going to be a collaboration between everybody in this room and everybody everywhere. I mean, it's really about putting our arms around youth in every way. Everything that we've got can go towards them so that we can have a brighter tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Also in 2023, you're going to really see us be, you're going to see a lot of construction on affordable housing, a permitting process that's more fluent, linear than others, so that we can get all these developments up and going faster. Also in 2023, you're going to see us really have a lot more mechanisms for citizen engagement. We're going to use technology to communicate even more in an interactive and a multi-directional way. Right now, we have a few ways, but I want to make sure that we have full participation. Is a word you're going to hear me talk about. How citizens can have full participation in their government. That group project that I keep talking about, I'm going to mature that idea a little bit. You'll hear more about it, but I believe that in 2023 we're going to be active participants. It won't just be these kind of folks. Y'all are all active participants. Y'all care, but the people that you tell today, yeah, I was at this thing. Why you always go to those things? All those things that people do those things on stages and talking to the mayor and all that stuff. Well, we're going to show you what full participation looks like. There's too many people on the sidelines of our city saying government solved that problem. I believe that government plus people should be able to solve these problems, not just you throw it to the government. And so you're going to hear a lot about that. So 2023 is going to look extremely collaborative and focused on our quality of life as well as our youth.
I love it. I love it. Excellent.
All right.
I love
Ladies
it.
and gents, 61st Mayor of the City of Atlanta. Thank y'all. We appreciate you joining. We know you got somewhere to be, man. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you. All right.
Let's take a picture.
And he's known around some of these parts as Westside Dre. We appreciate you.
Westside Dre, that's funny.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was awesome.
Ebony,
Awesome.
how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very inspired. As you know, these summits are very, very inspiring to me. It's such an excellent way to lead into your Friday and lead into your weekend. But yes, I feel ultra inspired today. It's awesome.
And again, we appreciate you all coming out. One of the things that I love about the Transform Westside Summit is you get some of everybody. You get, city officials, you get corporate partners that are doing work throughout the city. You get education specialists. You got a principal of Booker T. Washington right here, the principal of Hollis Innovation right there. And we appreciate you coming out, Ms. Ford, Dr. Ford.
Dr. Ford.
But this is an opportunity to get to know people, to get to connect with people in an organic way. And so, we encourage you all to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
If you see somebody in the audience that you feel like you might want to connect with on some professional level, it's
Please
all
do.
fair game to go out and holler at them, give them a business
Yes.
card, take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a very collaborative type of group. Nobody comes here if they don't want to network, they don't want to meet the person sitting next to them. So come here, feel free, network, okay? Now we're going to go over just a few of our housekeeping items. And it's, again, the format is a little bit different, a little bit off, but for the people who are unfamiliar with Westside Future Fund, our mission is to create a community that Dr. King will be proud to call home. And we do that with the help of our board of directors. And this board of directors, I want to let everybody know, they are not paid for the work that they do on behalf of Westside Future Fund. So we are very, very fortunate and graced by their service to the Westside. And we also have a very dedicated team, Westside Future Fund team, most of who are usually here helping with the summits. I think probably all of them are here today. So thank you guys as well.
We got a few team members that were really excited about smoothing out the permitting process. I know Rachel's back there like, please God. So,
and I think we have a couple of new Westside Future Fund team members as well. I'm not sure you guys' names, but welcome.
Yeah, we do. And typically we'll have self-introductions at the summit, but we had to forego that this morning because the mayor was on a very tight
Absolutely. And I want to shout out from Westside Future Fund, people who are not here on this slide, obviously Mr. John Ahmann, Janora Crook, Mr. Derek Jordan, Mr. Benjamin Earley, and Ms. Kelsey Wright. So again, thank you very much to Westside Future Fund and their team. And also, you know what, you guys, I am way off with this paper here. Have a couple of announcements here. So Westside Future Fund does offer community tours. So it's every second Saturday of each month. Westside Future Fund offers a community tour of the historic Westside. It is a really great way to learn about the community and see the work for yourself firsthand that Westside Future Fund is doing in our community. Registration is required. Please do that on our website, westsidefuturefund.org /WFF Campaign Cabinet. Well, I'm not sure if you have to go that deep into it, but westsidefuturefund.org.
Yeah, it's on the website.
And now it is, okay, thank you. Now this is huge, okay, you guys, because this is the first time that we have done something like this at Westside Future Fund. We are doing a ride for the Westside, okay? It's gonna be October 22nd from 8 a.m. till noon, so please come out with us. We're inviting the whole Atlanta, not just the Westside, to come out, enjoy a beautiful fall morning, see why the Westside is the best side. We already know that here, okay, but we're gonna show that to the rest of Atlanta. And the Ride for the Westside will support Home on the Westside and the equitable revitalization of this historic Atlanta neighborhood into a place that, again, Dr. King would be proud to call home. Now, don't let the name fool you, okay? This is a real event here. So what Ride for the Westside includes is an 11-mile, yes, I said 11-mile, bike circuit through Westside Future Fund's Westside neighborhood. So all the Atlanta cycling clubs, we need you guys to come through and represent. My sister sitting here, Patrice Ford, I know she rides, so I need you to pull your people through, okay? And also we have a 5K timed race. Now that one I will not be participating in, but that's for the serious people, okay? The race is actually a Peachtree Road race qualifier, so that's huge as well. We also will have a family-friendly, self-guided walking tour to highlight the neighborhood's incredible civil rights heritage, and again, to highlight Westside Future Fund's work. And that will be the one that I'll be, participating in. Post-race activities include music, fun, awards, and lots of fellowship, obviously, and networking. And volunteer opportunities for companies and individuals are available. So again, please invite your friends, co-workers come out to the West Side with us October 22nd from 8 a.m. to noon, and you may have to register for that one as well, I believe. So again, it's on our website, westsidefuturefund.org. And we also want to thank our generous sponsors for the Ride for the West Side. Without your support, this event would not be possible. Yeah. We have Aaron's, BlackRock, Chick-fil-A, Novelis, the Coca-Cola Company, Georgia Power, the Home Depot, WABE, APD Urban Planning and Management, Brock Built, Echo Street West, Lucy, NCR, and PNC. So thank you very much to our awesome sponsors. And now I have a pretty special announcement, okay? And for this one, I think we've heard Mr. Leonard Adams' name is called a couple of times throughout the summit. Can you stand for me, Mr. Adams, if you don't mind, please? Appreciate you. And that's my CEO. I work, again, at Quest, and Mr. Leonard Adams is the founder and the CEO at Quest CDC. And also, we have Ms. Vanessa Harrison, who is president of AT&T Coastal States. Is that correct? Okay, if you don't mind, Ms. Harrison, standing right there as you see for me, thank you. And I'm gonna pull this together for y'all, okay? Along with my new position at Quest of Director of Community Building and Engagement, I have been tasked with building out a brand new podcast called West Side Wise. Yeah, we can clap. Yes. And so, we have been working on this for a couple of months, okay? It's been in the works, and so again, we're gonna be bringing news and information to the residents of the West Side. That is where I live, where my son goes to school, obviously where I work, and this part of town means a lot to me, and we are very grateful at Quest for the partnership and sponsorship of AT&T. So we already have some really good segments recorded with a lot of other guests in the pipeline. So if you haven't heard from me yet, you will be hearing from me And I'm looking at certain people in the audience. Yeah. So, and I slide in social media DMs. I'll call, I'll email, whatever. So just look out for me by asking you to come through to be a guest on the podcast. And so we're giving you the news that you can use with the information that you, what, Mr. Adams? Cannot refuse. There you go. That's our tagline, okay? So anyway, as far as what it says here on our website, check us out. Everything is live today, questcdc.org/Y. So if y'all not tired of seeing me up here, go ahead and check me out on the podcast as well, okay?
That's exciting news. Exciting news.
Yes, and then moving on, so it's a lot of information, guys, so thank y'all for your patience. We have a Home Depot gift card drawing today, and as some of you may or may not know, Home Depot has invested millions of dollars to revitalize the West Side, okay? And we're very, very grateful for that, and they're doing a drawing today to give away a gift card, so I hope you guys got your red ticket when you walked in. You got that? Pull them out now, I don't want nobody to... Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Mrs. Steve. Okay, now I'm going to read the... Oh, don't waste your... There you go. Make sure you get the money on the floor. All right, so everybody got your red tickets, right? All right, the winning number for the Home Depot Foundation gift card is 3990595. That's the red one now. Don't look at the blue one. No.
All right, we got a winner.
We got 399.
All right, congratulations.
Hey!
Come on up.
Come on.
Yeah, come on up.
Come on down. That's cute.
Congrats. We appreciate you coming out this morning.
Thank you. Oh, is there a picture? Thank you so much. And there is your gift. You mind if we get a picture with you really quickly?
Right there.
Okay. Let me come over here. There you go. Appreciate it. You don't need that number, but. Thank you. Actually, I do need that.
Appreciate you coming out this morning,
Is
Rick.
did I drop the ticket? I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Appreciate you.
go,
Thank you.
co-host.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And now we also have a gift card from Goodwill of North Georgia. Okay? So I hope you guys all got your blue ticket as well when you came in. So now let's pull out our blue tickets. And I don't know if a lot of people know that Goodwill of North Georgia, while they do have really, really cool stores, including a brand new one on Metropolitan Parkway, what they actually do is put people to work. So when you go in there and you buy these cool items and you find these great finds, that money is actually going to workforce development to get people in, higher careers, not just jobs, careers, okay? Yeah. And they have a new store on Metropolitan Parkway. Again, please check it out.
Career Center, too.
And a career center. So sorry. Yes, absolutely. Blue tickets? All right, the winning number for the Goodwill of North Georgia gift card is 130254. 13. Ah, Mr. Michael Davis. Yes, come on up.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Come on down.
Come on down. Come on. Thank you. Get a picture?
Sure.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, congrats to our winners this morning. And again, folks, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you to everybody who tuned in via social, tuned into the live stream. We appreciate your presence as always. Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We appreciate you. Shout out to Chick-fil-A for the wonderful complimentary breakfast. We appreciate them. Always being great stewards. And again, we will be back on October 7th, first Friday of the month. Yes. Right back here in this same spot. We hope to see you all then. Until then, you stay safe. Have a good one.
Oh my gosh, there was a lot of talk.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run.